all you fellow Outlander nerds out there in the universe. Welcome to our Outlander After Show Book Club here on theStreamtv.
Speaking of nerds, it's your host, Keetin Marchi.
I'm Keetin Marchi here hosting, and I have the whole panel here today. We have Miss Jen Barnes.
Hello. Speaking of nerds.
Yes, super nerd. She's the major nerd. And then we have Ryan, who's the TV show
Not
nerd.
Okay, sort of nerd.
You are a nerd.
I'm geek chic, okay?
It's okay,
geek
it's cool.
Chic. Okay, let's jump into this episode. You know, this is the book club where we're going to kind of compare and contrast everything that happens in the book and in the TV show. So let's talk about The Search, episode 14. And Jenny and Claire, the badassery is real in the TV show as well as in the book. And Jenny's tracking abilities are awesome. And let's see, Jenny, the scene when Jenny was kind of squeezing milk out of her boobs.
Expressing.
That happened. That happened in the book.
That for real happened.
That was the same.
It happened.
It did.
And I'm glad they kept it in. You know, it's a little different. I mean, McNabb gives Jamie up to the watch in the book, you know, because he's mad that Jamie set him in his place with the way he was treating his son. In the book, a member of the watch was questioned instead, and he was threatened. He wasn't tortured. And he tells them how Jamie escaped from the watch, that they don't kill him. And then, of course, Murtagh does join them, but later that night. And he's not, none of that slitting of the throat. But you know what? What do you think, Ryan? Was it?
Well, first off,
like
I love
they
the use
kept
of the word badassery.
Yes.
That was
You're
first
welcome.
and foremost the thing that
Technical
I liked the
It
best.
should go in the dictionary.
And it's interesting you learning now about the fact that he gave him up to the watch in the book, because when I was watching the episode before and ended with Jamie and the gun to his head, I actually thought that guy was sent because of the interaction between he and Jamie.
With McNabb?
With McNabb, yeah, and like that was the reason that guy was there,
Right.
and all that. So it's interesting that it kind of does tie back to the book and how I saw it as a non-book reader,
Right.
even though it was sort of different.
Yeah, that McNabb thing really bites him in the butt in the book, which I think you said you were waiting for to happen.
Yeah,
right?
and I actually, in my mind, I pictured that being the reason behind
Right.
that scene happening in the episode before.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about Claire and Murtagh, the two best friends that anyone could have, really. So they did travel the countryside together, healing, singing, fortune-telling, and spreading the word about this tall, red-headed man so they could try to get Jamie to come to them.
Right.
And The Search was actually an entire part of the book. It was part 6 in the book.
Yep, it was called, part 6 was called The Search in the book. But, you know, it's a little different because Murtagh doesn't dance in the book. He does sing. But I'm glad they had that dancing thing. It was so funny. We didn't have that Bugle Boy song, but that was a cool thing to add in. And then, of course, they do encounter the gypsies in the book, but the gypsies don't steal their song like they do. What do you think, Ryan?
Well, Keetin Marchi must be wearing a leather jacket because she's fiery today over there with the two best friends that anybody could have. First off, you're killing it. Second of all, I thought that scene was probably my favorite part of the whole episode. The scenes with them traveling and her singing and
Right.
Murtagh's terrible dancing and the gypsies and all that interaction. Because that seems like something gypsies would do.
It
And was
does.
fitting, and it showed
Gypsies-
Claire's character and how she was like, you know what,
Trusting.
fine, do it. I'm
Yeah.
fine, take my money. And she
But-
stupidly gave them all her money, and
Gypsies steal things.
yeah, they do.
Gypsies do
But
steal
in the end, the gypsies did sort of come through.
Give me your gypsy tears.
No gypsy
They
gypsy.
came through and
did.
with that message, which brought
us to Dougal, Mr. Dougal. So the similarities that happened, Dougal does propose to Claire in the book, and he also has news of Jamie. But give us the differences, Jen.
I mean, Dougal's the one who gives Claire the message from Geillis. He says, yeah, he's like, well, she gave me these numbers to tell you, 1968. And he doesn't know what it means, but Claire's like, oh, 1968. And then, of course, Claire in the book doesn't agree to marry Dougal if she can't save Jamie. What do you think about that?
1968, I love that Geillis did it and not Dougal, because it really punctuated the Devil's Mark ending when she shows
Right.
her mark, and it's like, oh, and you you have a cool oh my gosh
big
moment.
reveal, yeah.
Like as a viewer, you're like, oh wow, that was so cool and I love it. The marrying thing, I think that was just her playing, her cleverness.
She was being sneaky. So final topic for today would be Claire forms the rescue party. That was what was the same as, yes, she does appeal to Dougal's men and ask them for help because she knows she can't rescue Jamie on her own.
What was different though, Willie is just more fleshed out in the show, which is really, he's a great character.
I love Willie.
But Willie is mentioned as being part of the search party in the book. And of course, Angus actually isn't in the book search party. How about that?
Lies.
All lies. It's fitting based on the TV show that that's the search party that goes with
Right.
them. Because
Yeah.
that's the men that they've had with him the whole time.
And they're
So,
like the dynamic duo.
Yeah,
in
they're a
this
great
scene.
little duo. Yeah, exactly. All of them. Great. Good choice.
Trio.
The trio, yeah.
The band.
Rufus
Getting
Three
the band back together.
Musketeers.
and Miss Willie.
Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us on today's Outlander Book Club. Make sure you check out all of our Outlander after shows on theStream.tv, as well as if you have any other favorite shows. They have a lot of after shows there and other shows. But join us for next week's episode. See you next time.
Bye.